y'all, it's your girl Stephanie. This is Wrestling in Color Podcast. Make sure you thumbs up or thumbs down this video. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram and Twitter. Those links are in the banner on this YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe. That's important. I see a lot of y'all come and listen and check it out, but you ain't subscribing. Subscribe if you like what I got going on. So, as we know, let me say this. We know I'm very vocal over here at Wrestling in Color, right? I don't have a problem saying how I feel, what needs to be going on, what needs to be happening. So with that being said, it's time to do some spotlights. So the spotlight that I chose, you're going to be shocked. I chose to spotlight Miss Mia Yim. Miss Stephanie Yim from Fontana, California. Yes. I chose to spotlight Stephanie Yim Bell because something about her is not clicking with me and is really working my nerve, and I don't know what it is. All I could go by is what's being shown to me on NXT, and what I'm seeing from her on NXT, I do not like. I don't like her gimmick. I don't like how she cuts promos. I don't like the way she's moving. It seems forced, and it's a little bit offensive if you really want to get down to it. And this is me, Stephanie. This is my opinion on Miss Mia Yim. Now, I've watched Mia Yim on Impact. I watched some of her when she was wrestling in Japan, and she was with the Dollhouse on Impact, and in Japan, and when she was wrestling in Japan, she was really playing up the Korean side of her, and doing all of that. And I guess when she came to America, it was time to tap into the black side. I don't fucking know. So with that being said, let's get a little bit of backstory on this spotlight, Miss NXT superstar Mia Yim. Real name Stephanie Yim Bell. She's, like I said, signed to WWE, NXT under the ring name Mia Yim. She appeared in the Mae Young Classic, where you all were like, sign her. She had a great showing there. Didn't mind her. I watched the Mae Young Classic. She worked for, like I said, Ring of Honor, Combat Zone, Shimmer Women, Shine, and she held both the Shine Championships and the Shine Tag Team Championships with Leather Bates. She wrestled in Japan for Rina Joshi Perushi, and she performed in Impact under the name Jade, which is where majority of, I would say, her American wrestling base knows her from. She was the Impact and Knockout champion, and she's one of BBC's 100 women to watch. Okay? Early life, she played volleyball at James Madison High School in Vienna, Virginia. She then attended Marymount University on a volleyball scholarship, studying for a degree in information technology. At Marymount, she played volleyball for a year. And they pointed out here her father is African American and her mother is Korean. Now, I don't know much about her parents, but this combination, more than likely, the father met her mom in Korea. I usually call those military babies, because you're not, in America, you're not really meeting like Koreans and just getting with black people, because the way the neighborhoods are segregated and all these things during these times. So she did point out on Chasing Glory, which I will reference a lot, real good interview on Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia. Her mom is all the way Korean. Her dad is African American, and he was working with the FBI in the gang unit out in California. Okay, we'll get back to that. So we had the professional career. She began training in Manassas, Virginia at 18. That's when she came up with Mia Yim. She worked for the independent promotions out of Virginia. And we already know where she ended up, Impact and all of those things. Fast forward now, she's Mia Yim, the head baddie in charge at NXT. She had a lot of accolades, single competitions at the Dollhouse between 2015 to 16 under the name Jade. Jade and debuted into the Knockouts edition of Impact Wrestling. She lost to Laura Dennis by disqualification. She attacked the ring announcer. She went on to her TNA Knockout Championships against Awesome Kong. Y'all know where she's at right now. And, you know, that's where a lot of us know her from. Jade defeated Kim Madison Rain in a 3-way match to win the TNA Knockouts Championship for the first time. Jade went on to defeat Leva Bates in a gauntlet match and eliminated Madison Rain to become the new Queen of Knockouts. This was back in 2016, 2017. So, you know, she got a pretty good cushion. July 13, 2017, she went ahead on and joined the Mae Young Classic. She defeated Sarah Logan, who can't, for some fucking reason, get her character and gimmick together. But that's another conversation. She was eliminated in a tournament in the second round by Shayna Baszler. And she returned into the Mae Young Classic a second time, defeating Allison Kay in the first round, and then returning Caitlyn in the second and losing to Miss Big Butt herself, Toni Storm. Thanks to her performance, everybody was loving it. She ended up getting signed to a contract and would be working with NXT. And she debuted on October 24th episode of NXT, and she defeated Aaliyah. After a backstage altercation, Yim faced Bianca Belair, and would hand her first loss, and that would spark a feud between the two, which is an interesting feud. If you want to see some weird promo work and who comes off how and why, I have an issue with Mia Yim's character. Her going back and forth with Bianca Belair will tell you that. Because she was dominated by Bianca Belair. I'm just going to be completely honest. Not because I enjoy Bianca and I'm a stan, but she could not come across strong and tough during their feud. Yim was able to bounce off the loss and defeated Reina Gonzalez to earn herself a spot for the fatal 4-way match to determine the NXT is now called Championship, no longer Women's. Belair ended up winning. Shortly after Belair's undefeated streak was ended, Mia Yim was able to defeat her in 2 different matches in the feud. She has a video game, in the worst video game that has come out of the WWE 2K situation. What else? And that's pretty much it. Right now she's dating the NXT World Champion, the one and only Keith Lee. So I was listening to her on Chasing Glory, and there's a couple things that jumped out at me about Mia Yim, and I'm going through this to juxtaposition her as Stephanie Yim to Mia Yim, and how they like to how did they come about with this character. She's been called the hood rat already. She's been called ghetto trash. She goes in the ring with Tim's, baggy clothes. She wears bandanas. Her music is, I'm the HBIC. She throwing up, I don't know if that's the Wu-Tang sign. Like, it's a lot of stuff coming off. But when she talks, you can hear that ain't who she is. So listening to her Chasing Glory, Lillian Garcia, great. It was a great interview. I learned a lot about her. Mia Yim pointed out that she grew up in Fontana, California. So I had to go take a look at what Fontana, California was, only because when I hear promos like this,
I grew up in SoCal near LA. It was a war zone right outside my house. I had to be standing on my own 2 feet since day one.
I be in it all night, I be in it all day. Tango on breaking verses like they on. Been an outcast, I ain't distant,
Wrestling was an escape. I was born to fight. This is just going to be the beginning. Because of the fans, because of their support, they're the reasons why I'm here.
So when when I hear something like I was raised in SoCal and there was a war zone outside my window, and I don't. Yes, Santana, California is considered Southern California, but from according to these demographics I'm reading, it wasn't a war zone, and it's probably considered one of the more nicer parts of California. And if your father is working for the FBI, I can guarantee you're not having much interaction with black people. And she proved that to me in this Chase and Glory interview. She said she was teased. I noticed that's a theme with a lot of wrestlers. Ember Moon, you name it, they were teased, as everyone. She said she pointed out something real interesting. She said she wore the Hardy's t-shirt to school and got teased. And these girls proceeded to throw rocks at her. Now, because she keeps pointing out that she's Blasian, black and Asian, the way she's being conveyed is as if she was in the middle of some type of racial, battleground between blacks and Asians or Koreans. She grew up around majority white people and Latinos. So I don't know why her being ghetto and hood rat and looking the way she looking is being thrown out there and conveyed, but that ain't what she grew up around, and that's not who she is. She literally said the girls that was throwing rocks at her were all white. When she moved to Washington, D.C., she ended up moving to basically an all-white suburb with a cul-de-sac. Okay? When she was in California, the majority of that population was Hispanic. So I'm trying to understand where she's getting this hood ghetto persona from. I don't like it. She pointed out that California school system wasn't the best. So when she moved because of her dad's job, she ended up in the remedial courses because I guess in Washington they are a little bit more accelerated. Or she was in a better school which expected more from her. Okay? She said her mom did not want her to be a wrestler because she was all the way Korean and didn't understand none of that bullshit. But her dad watched wrestling. That's how she got into it. They did a lot of traveling because he was in the FBI. He was very concerned about her well-being because he was in the gang unit. So he sheltered them. Her character is not sheltered. The character is the HBIC street smart, headstrong, I know what the fuck is going on. That ain't what's going on with Mia Yim. And it's not translating for me. Okay? She said she took an African American studies class in college, but unfortunately we couldn't elaborate on that because she then went into a very tumultuous time in her life where she was abused by a boyfriend during her Impact days. She was physically battered. And as of late, she says Shelton Benjamin and a couple other people helped her through that awful time in her life where she was, being controlled and beaten, abused. And she's been very vocal about, abuse and battered women, which is very commendable, and I can appreciate that.
Now it does. I think growing up, just because I was in LD classes, I got picked on a lot. Because I was biracial, I got picked on a lot. I just got picked on for a bunch of different reasons that it was easier for me to just keep everything in. And then once I pretty much moved out of that little town in Virginia or northern DC, I was slowly starting to talk about it. And then it, doesn't bother me as much anymore.
Yeah, it's an ongoing theme with a lot of wrestlers that they were teased and jacked up. So, I don't think Mia Yim's character is good for her. I don't. And I did say that to her on Twitter, and I said, I'm glad you're embracing, both sides of you. I do agree that it's good to embrace both sides of you. Like, there's this thing with American race where if you got a slither of black, they just throw you in the black pot. And, I really feel like if you're biracial, I think it is good for the child and for the family and for everyone to go ahead and embrace and learn that other half of you. I find it really bizarre when people just dismiss a whole entire half of you. So she's Korean. I don't expect her not to embrace her Koreanness and her blackness, or or whatever. So she says, I love my supporters. Unfortunately, I dealt with "you're not black enough" or "you're not Korean" comments all her life. I don't know who was telling her that, because you grew up around a bunch of white kids and a bunch of Latino kids. So I don't know who was telling her that, and besides white folks. So it's a little bit bizarre to me that that was conveyed the way it was. So I just said, I'm glad you embraced both sides of you. So drop the gangster gimmick because it sucks. And she said no. I'm just honest about it. It's just a terrible ass gimmick. So anyway, Mia Yim put on a great clinic this past couple weeks. She got hit in the face with a ladder against Io Shirai. She put her body on the line. I gotta give it to her. It was real good wrestling. I didn't, she's a decent wrestler. I just don't care for the gimmick. So she's a survivor of domestic abuse. She's been speaking out about it a lot. So she said one of the things that she wants to do when she retires to go and get into info technology. She got an IT degree from Marymount College. That's one of the things that she says she would do when she decides to retire from wrestling. I told y'all she's a survivor. She speaks out about the abuse that she dealt with during her time at Impact. I know, actually, if you want to look it up and who the guy was, you can. But she's very vocal, and I can appreciate that, because we all know that women who are battered, it takes 7 times to leave, and the 8th time is usually death. She's very active on social media. Y'all can follow her on Mia Yim Official. I'm pretty sure she's making good money, and like I said, right now she's in a relationship with her Keith Lee. So everything looks like it's coming up roses for Miss Mia Yim. She was on the Worlds Collide. They're using her. She's getting exposure. I just want her to change that fucking gimmick. And this is my spotlight for Mia Yim. I hope you learned something. I learned a lot about her, and I'm going to put that Chasing Glory link so you could go and listen to her tell her story as well and pick up on some little Easter eggs. So hope you like it. If you get to the end of this, please put pound Mia Yim. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Make sure you thumbs up and thumbs down this video. Tell me what you think about Mia Yim. Do you like her? Are you enjoying what she's doing so far? Give me all you got. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Later!